Hello everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Veil Tarot and Astrology. My name is Candace Marie. Thanks for joining me. Happy Saturday night. Hopefully you guys are doing well. We're going to be doing live readings on the channel this evening as we do every Saturday night. So those of you guys who are new to my channel, welcome. We alternate between tarot and astrology. This week it's going to be tarot. Hopefully you guys are enjoying your Saturday night. It is a lively one over here. We are going to be offering 1 or 3 card readings. So if you're new to my channel, you're going to scan the QR code below right down here. It's going to take you to my PayPal. In the memo, please put your question and your name if it differs from your PayPal name. I'll add you to the queue and we'll be reading the cards live on the channel. If you have not already subscribed, please do. You can click the buttons below and you'll get alerted as to when I have new videos coming out on my channel, including horoscopes every month. We have weekly astro weather on Sundays and videos sprinkled throughout the week, new moons, full moons, retrogrades, all that fun stuff. We're putting out a video like 4 times a week now. So trying to kind of stay strong to the end of the year. We got some crazy stuff going on. I'm going to be changing offices and some other things. So we're still going to put content out for you, but it might be just a little bit of a different format. I know that we've got a couple people in the queue. Looks like we have got Megan, and also, what's up, Kayla? Obaga, who is that? Hey Dan, how's it going? Happy Saturday, everyone. Hey Claudia. If you are a level 3 subscriber who has not gotten your monthly reading, you can cash in on this now if you would like. If you're not a member, you can join memberships. We have level 1, 2, and 3. 3 being you're gonna get a shout out, you're gonna support the channel, and you're gonna get a reading once a month during my live. So it's a great way to make sure that you can get in and ask your questions. We always take level 3 subscribers first. Okay, Kayla, I got you. So I definitely have Sarah and I have Kayla. You guys are in the queue. And if there's anybody who's level 3 that wants to jump in, let me know. Just some notes about the channel over the next week or so. So those of you guys who tune in weekly, we're not going to be having a live on the 17th. So I'm going to post it in the community tab, but I'm just going to start letting people know throughout this week there will not be an astrology. We're going to skip it, and then the next week is going to be Christmas Eve. So probably what's going to happen is I'll do something, I'm assuming if I can swing it, maybe Friday. So I'm not going to hold myself to that, but we're going to try to not skip 2 weeks. But it's weird because we have Christmas Eve and then we're going to have New Year's Eve. So maybe we'll do like Fridays or something for the rest of the month. But just wanted to let you guys know so that way you're not hanging and waiting in. All right, Claudia, you got it. Just let me know what your question is and I will pull your 3 cards and then we will get on to taking a look at Kayla and Sarah. Just a reminder, this is going to be for tarot. If you're looking for astrology, come back closer to the end of the month. We're going to do that in 2 weeks. We're going to pick back up with astrology and then we'll do tarot, but maybe we'll swing some other ones in later this month. We'll see if we can make it happen. But generally we're here on Saturdays. It's just some scheduling changes. All right, Claudia, you got it. So Claudia says, I'd love a reading on money. It looks like your birthday is October 27th, 1978. Scorpio sun, Libra rising. Just like me, we are astro twins. What is your moon sign? Now let's take a look and see what the cards have to say. And we'll get that going for you. So Claudia wants to know, can I get some info on money? Moon in Virgo. Is it a 12th house moon? Whole sign wise, but I wonder. There we go. So we have got the Devil coming up with the 4 of Wands and the Knight of Wands. Kind of interesting when you read that in order. To me, it seems like a lot of like running away from financial problems. Sweeter times being on the horizon, being in a situation where you're breaking out of patterns, right? So patterns involving the Devil can talk about materialism, fixation, feeling stuck at a job, feeling stuck in a financial situation. especially burdens or things that you feel like you can't quite escape, right? The Devil card has like this like heavy connotation to feeling bound by a situation or feeling like you're unable to free yourself. So sometimes this card comes up when it's talking about just financial patterns and general habits, how you're spending money, what you're spending it on, or feeling just stuck in a certain financial situation or feeling stuck in a pinch. Sometimes this can be in a job cycle where you're like feeling like, okay, I can't quite get out of what I've been doing. I can't break out of what I've been doing, or feeling kind of stuck in a cycle of always paying for something and never really kind of feeling like you're saving, and that there is the sense of you not being able to kind of break out of a financial situation. This is the card that's in the past. This is a card that's also associated with Capricorn. It has connections with Saturn. So I think of like, you know, for a Libra rising, Scorpio sun, you know, these eclipses that are happening right now as the South Node is moving through your second house and there's eclipses there, you're being pushed to basically let go of things, right? So it's like let go of the need to hold on to things. So there can be a sense of being more willing to sell stuff or get rid of stuff, or, you know, purge and clean stuff out of your house. But it can also be making some really big changes in terms of your spending habits and not feeling like you always have to hold on to finances. Granted, the South Node transit there can be this feeling of, wow, I don't really feel totally financially sound or secure. This will start to ease up once we start to see the eclipses work their way out of your second house, and also, you know, as the South Node is moving into the sign of Libra. You might feel like the Mercury retrograde, because this is talking about Saturn, can be a lot of like you confronting issues where maybe you have told yourself, okay, you know, I always have to work hard for resources. I always have to work hard to be able to, you know, afford things, especially when it comes to your home or your family life, because that's really what the fourth house is, Capricorn. Then you've got the Four of Wands, which is basically saying temporary spaces, reason to celebrate. This can be an indication of things shifting very quickly within like 4 weeks. This is a card that's also about like getting together with other people and being in a situation where you're able to be with like-minded people. It can be friends, can be family, but it can also be saying like, hey, like there's like an nice upward swing of, for a couple of months, things get a little bit easier. This is a card that also talks about the spring, so it might be saying it's just a matter of kind of pulling out of this Capricorn season, and as you're getting into the new year in the first couple of months of 2023, feeling like there's some financial positive news on the horizon. This can also be collaborating and working with like-minded people. Then we have the Knight of Wands, and so the Knight of Wands deals with like being able to charge into a situation and having a lot of like ferociousness and like guts. Like there's a sense of like willing to take chances with this card as well. So I'm wondering if this is a situation where you're like, okay, feeling a little stuck in one area of work, where can I take chances and do something different? How can I be in a situation where I can be really pushing myself creatively and having more of a sense of being like, okay, I'm gonna, you know, go and spearhead, you know, this new potential side gig, or I'm taking a new talent or something where I feel very invested and very energetically connected and be able to make a little bit more money. But to me, it seems like it would be with other people, right? So the Four of Wands with the Knight of Wands makes me wonder if you have other people that are like, hey, okay, you're a realtor. People might ask you if you'd be willing to like show homes or work in other areas, or if you'd be willing to venture outside of the area that you're used to servicing. This can also be saying that you're considering going and working with another group. Granted, this to me seems very temporary, so I don't know if this means that you would consider going and, you know, working in another area where you've got friends or you've got business associates that would be inviting you to come. To me, it also looks like it would be something that would be not a lot of notice. You'd have to kind of like hit the road and get going pretty quickly. And if it's not that, then it's going to be something that you're going to be willing to do over a period of a couple weeks, up to a maximum of 4 months, to try your hand at being able to kind of flip things or make money a little bit more quickly. But it definitely looks like right when you get out of Capricorn season, you're coming out of this. And it's like, I got to tell you, you know, just we have similar placements. The South Node eclipses in Scorpio have been really interesting because it's pushing you to kind of feel the pressure financially for some stuff and be willing to kind of part ways with certain spending habits or certain things that you have possessed or certain things that you have valued. But what you have to gain with the North Node eclipses hanging out for you in your 8th house is the opportunity to make money with other people. So I'm wondering if this makes sense where you're looking at, okay, you know, you're giving people a break maybe on the percentages when it comes to selling homes. Maybe you're considering going and joining another group, or you've got friends in other places, and you know, people collaborating with other people might bring you more resources. So now's the time to be adventurous, to take chances, get outside of your usual kind of work zone, especially location-wise, and really listen to any potential opportunities that come up over these next immediate 4 weeks, even if you have to go a little bit further. Okay? Hopefully that's helpful for you. Good luck with the finances, Claudia. What's up, Lou? Hey, Tiana. What's going on? Hey, Asha. Hey, Kay. What's going on? Happy Saturday, everybody. Happy Saturday. Let's see who else we got in the queue. If you guys are just joining us, you can get a tarot reading. You can get one by donation, $20 for 1 card, $40 for 3 cards. You can click the QR code right down here and I'll get you in the queue. Okay, cool. So let's see what, hey, else, who we got here. So we got Sarah. Sarah said, I have a new love interest. It's getting serious fast. His name is James. He lives in the UK. You're in Australia. And it looks like you said you're a Sag rising, Taurus sun, Cancer moon. And his is a Cancer rising, Cap sun, Virgo moon. So you're having the Mars retrograde in your 7th, square Neptune. So it's literally about another person in another place. And you're like, how can we make this work? We live in different places. And he is a Cancer rising with a Cap sun belonging to his whole sign 7th, and his moon belongs to his whole sign 5th. So he started making changes, looking for romantic connections in the fall, and he's about to have a Mercury retrograde in his 7th. So lots of action in both of your guys' 7th houses. People hear retrograde and they get freaked out, but to be honest with you, a retrograde in your 7th house can bring a very prominent, sometimes even like a karmic relationship in. So just know for both of you, because you have Mars in your 7th square Neptune, the issue seems to be more revolving around obviously location, right? And for some people, it's like they live on, you know, the other side of the state. For other people, it's in another country altogether. Super karmic. Yeah, retrogrades in the 7th, definitely bring it on. And I definitely think that for him, being a Cancer rising, this Mercury retrograde coming in at the end of the month is really interesting because it's going to trine his moon. And for a man's chart, the moon can be his wife. So let's see what the cards say in terms of you and James. And if there's something on the horizon for the two of you. Okay, so we have, wow. I gotta tell you, Sarah, I would definitely get his info, like find out like where he's been, what he's coming out of, what the deal is there. A lot of Cancer risings would tell you that they've kind of been through hell and back in relationships in recent years. So this doesn't surprise me. Between Pluto going through their 7th house for like almost 20 years, Saturn's been through there. We've had Saturn square from his 7th to Uranus in the 11th. But to me, the 10 of Swords coming up with the 8 of Cups makes me wonder, like, are either one of you guys just kind of coming out of something? Like, do you know anything about his most recent past? 10 of Swords in the past isn't bad. It's basically saying that, like, you know, both have loved and lost. There's been a situation where either one of the two of you or both of you have experienced grieving a relationship, feeling disappointed, feeling like something didn't pan out, really being hurt in the past, and having a difficult time finally moving on. So if it's a situation where he's recently gone through a separation or a breakup, or there's been like a divorce or like moved out, like there's definitely a need to kind of talk about that and making sure that the past has been put in the past, right? Because the 10 of Swords talks about, you know, the challenges in terms of really letting something go. For some people, it can be grieving. So even though they've been, you know, separate for several months, it's like grieving the loss of a partner and like having a really difficult time moving forward. This can also be people who have spent such a long time waiting to get back into a relationship. Yeah. Yeah, so it's like, you know, the Ten of Swords, sometimes if it comes up in the past tense, it can be basically saying like somebody who got hurt so badly, they haven't really been willing to get back into dating, and there's been like this trepidation in terms of putting themselves out there because they feel like they got hurt so badly that they don't know if they're ready yet. That's kind of hanging around here. But the good news is the Eight of Cups is coming up. And so it is saying it's like, okay, it's time to actually fully move on. The Eight of Cups is when you get in the car, you drive away, you don't look in your rearview mirror. So the good news is this isn't a situation where he's entangled with something, like there isn't a messy separation or a divorce or anything that's kind of lingering, like that, you know, both parties have fully moved on, for yourself included. I think this is interesting because the Ten of Swords and the Eight of Cups is like, I got hurt so badly that, you know, I just decided it was just going to be me. And maybe it was a matter of both parties really getting to that point in the healing process where there had to be like this like light that turns on, where both of you guys were just like, okay, well, I'm not there anymore. I'm not going back there anymore. I have no other choice but to move forward. And that happens a lot. Like I see this a lot for clients. Like I've read for like lots of people. I've read for people actually who did not know each other and then they ended up dating, which was really weird. But it was interesting to talk to the two of them separately and see them go through that process of having to both consciously get to the point where they were ready to date again. And then it's like, ding, then you end up meeting that person. So to me, it seems like the past several months, both of you guys have been in that process, especially since about the summertime, to where you're definitely moving forward and you're on to bigger, better things, because we know after the Eight of Cups, we see the Nine of Cups, which is the wish cards, right? And the Eight of Cups is also kind of talking about like the willingness to like see what else is out there. Nothing is promised, but it is saying that you are moving forward and kind of getting into areas that you've never really considered before. Then we have the Fool card. So it's interesting that it's like scared. Okay, finally I'm ready. I think I'm ready to start something. Okay, here goes nothing. So the progression of these cards is very interesting, especially because it's kind of like dark and gloomy, kind of on the fence. Okay, yeah, let's go. So it makes me feel like there is this sense of just like being held back, like an arrow that's being pulled back before it's just like launched. And so the Fool card is like, yeah, like let's take a chance. Let's see what happens. There's no guarantee with the Fool card. It is a card that talks about being willing to jump into something and try something new. There's no guarantee that it's going to pan out. There's no guarantee that you're not going to get hurt. Do I see this as him being afraid that he's going to be played a fool? No, actually, because I always use the bottom of my deck as the confirmation card. So I'll put this out here so you can see this. This is the confirmation card, the Four of Wands, which is basically saying like, this is a guy who I don't know if he's willing to admit this, but I mean, those of you guys who have seen my live readings, you know, I'm pretty direct. Like I'm not going to candy coat things. This is a card that deals with marriage. This is a card that deals with finding a forever person, a soulmate, somebody who you are willing to kind of spend most of your time with moving forward. This is about celebrating coming together and being able to enjoy time together. So this is one of the cards that I would pull for marriage. So it's interesting because I think in the back of his mind, he's probably thinking like, yeah, I'm looking for like long term. I think the Fool card could be him saying that he's willing to take a chance on the connection and see if it could actually transform into something more serious. The Four of Wands can be talking literally about, okay, let's meet, let's connect, let's see how things go. Let's plan a holiday, let's plan a trip, and something within the immediate near future. It could be 4 weeks, could be 4 months. But I don't get the sense with the Fool card that he's so concerned about being taken advantage of that he's unwilling to take a chance, because these two come together. They have a good time. They're hanging out at a party. They're outside. They're on vacation. So it does seem to insinuate that there is going to be an opportunity for you guys coming together and spending more time together physically to see if this could actually be a thing. But once again, the Fool card is saying that you have to take that chance. And so I think that maybe it's pushing both of you guys through the distance to really get to know each other, to really talk about, well, what if this were to happen? And like, hey, let's do something crazy. Let's go on a trip together, or I'm going to come and visit you, or you're going to come and visit me, and go based off of the chemistry, go based off of the experience that you guys have together physically. Have fun. Don't be focused so much on the actual longevity of the relationship or whether or not there is some kind of commitment. In the back of my mind, knowing that there's a retrograde in his 7th, knowing that also it's not going to be really in the clear until February, by then, you guys should know. Equally for you, Mars in your 7th house is going to square Neptune literally for like until March. Even though Mars is going to go direct to mid-January, And what that means for Sag rising is with Mars in your 7th, it's like ramping up relationships. It's squaring Neptune in your 4th, which means you need to see how the passion is in the relationship. You need to see what you guys can go and get done and accomplish together. Mars in Gemini is great for FaceTiming, texting, being on the phone. But if you're together, it can be very intense. So there is a need to travel or to go and be physically active together or be having a lot of intimate time to diffuse that Mars-Neptune square. And it can manifest as kind of like, I don't know if I want to live in your country. I don't know if you want to live in my country type of vibe. So it's less about trying to figure out how you guys could come together, how that would work in terms of like, you know, the specific place. This is more about getting together, having a good time. If you guys have a trip planned in February, that's wonderful. To me, that seems like perfect timing. Enough time to see each other, feel it out, and see if it's a thing. But I think that more so than not, especially with the Fool and the 4 of Wands as the confirmation card, it'll be like, you know what, this is crazy, but like, let's keep seeing each other. You know, like, let's make this a thing. Could it inevitably turn into what could be a union? Yeah, totally, for sure. Especially for a Sag rising. Just thinking that you have eclipses that are going to be happening in your 5th house next year, which is about true love. Jupiter's going into your 5th house next year, which is about having fun, traveling, having a good time, being creative. And it can also be a precursor or an indication of pregnancy. So just a heads up. But worst case scenario, take a chance, because this definitely seems like it would be somebody that you would travel with and continue to grow. But let the past be in the past. Don't let the past fears and concerns be something that keeps you guys from being able to really be present with getting to know each other, and definitely go on that trip. Good luck. Hopefully that's helpful for you. Let's see, who else we got here? We have, let's see, I believe that was Kayla. What's up, Kayla? Hey, Echoist, thanks for stopping by. Kayla says, 1 card, Aries Sun, Capricorn Rising, Leo Moon. Currently have a situation with a guy I need clarity on. I feel as though the feelings are mutual, but no move has been made on his end. What is he waiting for? Is my manifestations on this situation working? Let's take a look. Aries Sun, Cap Rising. Wow. What degree is your Leo Moon? Saturn is finally coming out of an opposition. Let's see what the cards say for you. All is well, you know, just busyness, about to have a retrograde through all 4 of my Capricorn planets, so getting a little nervous. You're not sure. Okay, no worries. If you have a Leo moon, you've had Saturn in opposition to your moon and Uranus that's been in a square, which can be hard for emotionally connecting. We've got the Death card. Quite an interesting card for that to be coming up in terms of clarity, because my confirmation card is the 9 of Wands. So the Death card is talking about definitive change, transition, transformation. Personally, I'm kind of perplexed by this, because I feel like the Death card can be talking more about some of the Pluto transits if you're a Cap rising. So Mercury retrograde, it's going to be conjunct Venus. It's all conjunct Pluto. The Death card can be talking about the need to kind of like let a situation go, let a situation transform the way that it needs to transform on its own. And like, I see this more about giving up the need to have a particular outcome. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's a sense of just like, okay, whatever it's going to be, but it's going to be a very significant change. 9 of Wands is the confirmation card. Makes me feel like for you personally, you're in a situation where you're just like, I can't force the river. I can't push that. I just need to be pushing for a change and transformation and for things to actually unfold the way they're needing to. But part of it may have to deal with you letting go and letting God, and also letting this person kind of go through their transformation or transition very much on their own. I'm very curious though how this ties into Pluto, because Pluto's in your first house and you're going to have Mercury and Venus very close. So I want you to pay attention right around Christmas time, like the 24th, maybe through the 30th, because Mercury is going to turn retrograde and it's going to be conjunct Pluto and Venus. So it's going to be about, what do you love? What do you want? How are you changing? How are you transforming? How are you basically saying like, I'm becoming a different person. I don't feel like I need to control something, or I feel like I have to tell somebody that they have to behave a certain way. If you've got Cap and Aries in your big three, that's a lot of cardinal. So that tells me that there is a sense of you wanting to initiate things, right? So, you know, Aries sun connecting to your fourth house means that you're emotional, you're sensitive, and also, whether or not you realize this, like you need your space. So part of the Mercury retrograde is about being able to focus more on yourself. And I'm not going to say less on other people, but not feeling like you need to push the river with others. The Death card can also be talking about when those conjunctions are happening to Pluto, which is going to be sometime in January. I did a Mercury retrograde video in Capricorn. Go check it out. All the dates are there. Yes, I do, but I'm fearful of rejection. But the Death card is basically saying like change is inevitable. So it's not so much about rejection. Rejection would be a different card. But this is saying maybe both parties are needing to change and let go of feeling the need to control the situation before the two of you guys can totally come together. Does that make sense? And I would have to say that it's more about you being more focused on yourself and your own personal vision for what you're hoping to create in a relationship, and also the awareness, the insight of, wow, that's a fear of mine, right? Because the Death card's about fear. It's about combating fear and being able to be like, wow, maybe the thing that I'm most afraid of, it's what's holding me back. So if what you're afraid of is rejection, then I think I always like to say this to clients, like high standards, low expectations. If you have that ratio, you're not going to end up being in a situation where you're going to be let down, and you're going to be more so focused on not letting in something that is less than what you deserve, right? But it's great to use the Death card as a way to be able to acknowledge, hey, I'm afraid of being rejected. What can I do to be working on that? So that way, if somebody doesn't get back to me immediately, if somebody's not ready, if somebody says that they need more time, you're not getting disappointed and you're not feeling rejected. You're looking at it as an opportunity to be like, okay, well, I know that I'm ready and you're not ready, so I need to focus more on myself, and I'm not going to hang around until you figure it out. Boom, you're able to kind of kick rejection out the door, right? Or the fear of rejection out the door. So work with the Death card as a means to be able to kind of work with some of those fears and set some of those fears free, and don't let them get in the way, I think, of being able to have like a really strong connection. But as far as I'm concerned, it's less about you, it's more about them, and you feeling like, okay, I'm gonna let them be as they're kind of swimming through their feelings and doing what they need to do. Part of it might be acknowledging like, hey, I don't wanna wait around forever for you, or I don't wanna have to feel like you're not getting back to me because you're not interested. So there may be a need to really be clear and be practicing transparency and being like, hey, I don't really like feeling like, you know, you're not getting back to me, or you're not interested. Did I do something wrong? Ask questions, right? Especially if you're not getting clear communication with that person. The retrograde's a really important time for you to do that. Hopefully that's helpful for you. Thank you for your donation. Appreciate it. We're almost out the door. 22 is morbid. It's a Scorpio card. That card always comes up when I feel like it's going to come up, and I'm like, are you going to come up? And then it always shows its phase. I've got Kimberly. Let's see. Is it Annis? Elsa, Austin, and Asya. Here we go. What's up, Kim? She says, Scorpio Sun, Sag Rising, Moon, Venus, Neptune, and North Node. Wow, that's a lot of Sagittarius in your chart. We had our first date, not sure of the time, born in another country. Okay, so let's see what your question was. Is it in here? Met a Virgo, you really like, what's next? Okay, so you are a Scorpio Sun with a ton of Sagittarius. And you've had you also have Mars retrograde going on in your 7th square Neptune. Let's take a look. How is that with Mars going back and forth over your South node? Have you heard from people from the past? Have people from the past like emailed you or called you, or have you run into people that like remind you of the past at all? Has that happened? Just curious. Those for you guys who are Sag risings, especially if you have a node in the 7th house, your north node or your south node, this is a really interesting time. So let's take a look. Let's see what's up with this Virgo that you just met, and let's find out what's next for Kimberly. Same country, same last name. There should be some similarities, girlfriend. Watch for those similarities. That is the universe's way of having a sick sense of humor. Okay, so we've got the 2 of coins, the Devil, and the Chariot. Pretty significant to have 2 majors in a 3-card spread, okay, just for starters. I bet you guys were going to see the Devil a lot this evening because we're feeling all the planets moving into Capricorn. 2 of coins, the Devil, and the Chariot card. So the 2 of coins is like, it could go either way. It's like, I think you walked away from the date and you're like, I don't know how to read this person, right? Like in a sense, it's like, you're like, is he going to call me back? Wait to hear from him? Like, what's happening? So I think maybe you're overthinking it. I think the 2 of coins can also talk about some sense of feeling like you're weighing your options, not necessarily with people, but like asking yourself, like, maybe am I ready to get back into dating, right? I mean, to be a Sag rising and to have all the eclipses you've had in your 7th house these last few years, and the fact that now you're experiencing eclipses with Scorpio placements, there can be some concern or some iffiness about even getting involved in the dating game right now and whether or not it's worth your time. But I think that can also be about a bit of indecisiveness or worry or overthinking something. The Devil card also coming up seems to suggest right now that you're just like, man, I'm really fixated on this one. I don't see this as being a negative thing. I see it as being something where perhaps maybe part of the concern or the fears is, am I going to repeat the same patterns as I have before in previous relationships? Or maybe it's just like one of those people that you look at and you're like, this person's going to be the death of me, just knowing, because they may have that look that you like, a certain personality trait that you like. You might find them extremely appealing. And there's the sense of you being like, yeah, this is going to end badly, but like in all the best ways, right? Sometimes you just like look at somebody and you just know, especially if you have all that stuff in your chart. I think also this can be talking about Saturn and the fact that you have such a strong Saturn emphasis in your chart right now, hanging out in your 3rd house, and it's been in a square to Uranus in your 6th house, and a lot of Sag risings have had to learn how to communicate when you have the time to be in a relationship, when you have the time to see someone. So you might feel like your hands are full with life right now, or maybe you're kind of going back and forth and being like, do I have the time to get involved with somebody? Like, am I wasting my time? Like, should I be focusing on, things for myself? Like, is this going to take up too much? And there can be some concern with, are you getting back into a relationship that kind of reminds you of the past? And are you possibly going to get stuck or connected or bound to this person in some way? When the Devil comes up in general, especially in a love reading, like I do have to like let people know, like watch out, like there may be some things that come up in this relationship that can be shadow work, or there can be some things that you start to notice that can be flags. Doesn't mean that this is a no, but there can be some flags. Saturn is trining your natal Venus. Okay, cool. So that's really helpful. Then you have the Chariot. So this is interesting because it's like, I don't know, this may not play out very well, or I might be falling into old patterns. And then the Chariot is like full steam ahead. So it's like a process of like kind of working through it before you really decide whether or not you're going to proceed forward. This is a card that is associated with Cancer. It's associated with the moon. This is also about steam picking up or momentum picking up. Physical travel, relocation, traveling to visit somebody coming and traveling to spend time with you, taking a trip together, things that involve family, going back home, moving homes. Like that's what this card is connected to. It's about getting your ducks in order and also listening to your intuition and having a good idea intuitively what direction things are heading in. So being a Sag rising, any Sag risings that are listening right now, you got Neptune in your 4th house, right? You got Jupiter right now in your 4th house. You got planets moving through your 1st house and it's opposing Mars. So there's a lot of like, I met this person, they're really amazing, but they live in another state. I met this person, they're really great, but you know, I don't know if they're ready with where they are in their life for what I'm ready for, or vice versa. It could go either way. I think the Chariot card is really interesting because I feel like this says that at least in an emotional sense, things are going to pick up very quickly and you're going to have this really strong connection and you'll intuitively know whether it's about your forecast. This can be with the star cloth, listening to horoscopes for the rising signs, or you're listening to your astrology, or you're reading tarot cards, or using your intuition. You have an idea of where your life is going, right? And so just in general terms, as a Sag rising woman, having eclipses in Taurus as a Scorpio, it's about relationships, right? Granted, it's in your 6th house, so it's about relationships that help you. So it's not just about meeting people, it's like new trainers, new coworkers, new pets, new health instructors, whatever. And as a Sag rising, you're going to see Jupiter go through your 5th house. So falling in love, having children, starting businesses, traveling, having fun. So the question is he down to go with where you're going in terms of life? That's the big question. He's a Cancer rising. So the fact that he's going to have that Mercury retrograde taking place, I believe, hold on, I want to double check this because I know we don't know his time, right? You're the Sag rising, so we're not sure of his birth time or whatever. Okay, that's fine. We just know he's a Virgo. So as a Virgo, Mercury retrograde in Capricorn is going to be 5th house to his sun. It's about what he's in love with, who he loves, what he loves, and he's got Saturn going into Pisces next year, which can very much be about getting into a serious relationship with someone who may live somewhere else, or somebody who's looking for something serious. Saturn rules Virgo's 5th house. So getting serious about love, getting serious about marriage, getting serious about having kids, these kinds of things can be coming up. Talk to him about why you have been hesitant to jump into relationships, why you've been very particular, why you've been picky, what's happened in the past, what your concerns have been about moving forward too quickly. And for all my Sag risings listening, you need to wait until March before you move. You're going to meet people in other cities. You're going to meet people in other countries, okay? And it's really important that you wait to get out of that Neptune square and you know who you're dealing with before you pick up and you move somewhere else, okay? But as far as I'm concerned, it looks positive. It's just a matter of getting past the indecisiveness and talking more about where you see your life going and seeing if he wants to join you. Good luck. What's up, Angeli? All right, so let's see, who else do we have here? You're welcome, Kim. Good luck with that, Virgo. All right, so we've got, is it Anise? 3-card live reading, am I saying that right? Do you have a particular question? Let me know. I will read that for you. And then on deck, we have Elsa, Austin, Asia, Amber, Amiko, and Angeli. Let's see, Elsa, let's see if she has a question so I can see if... Got this here. Those of you guys who are just tuning in, we're going to call last call pretty soon. So if you want to get in the queue, scan the QR code, $20 for 1 card, $40 for 3. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna call you Anna so I don't botch your name. Let me know what your question is. I've been in a relationship for 4 years. Not sure where it is going. Okay, cool. Let's take a look. What is your signs? Seem to be at a standstill. All right, let's take a look. No worries, Angie. You're a Scorpio. All right, let's take a look. Let's see what the cards say for you. Anna. All right, and when is their birthday? Pisces. Okay. So let's see what's up with Anna and her partner. They're at a standstill. Where is it going? Shares the Chariot again. Let me ask you a question. Do you guys live together? Are you feeling like there's like a lack of like, I mean, obviously you're saying we're at a standstill. Do you feel like there's a lack of actually making the effort to physically build a future together? Okay. Because there seems to be a sense of you being like, what does this person have to offer me? Right? High Priestess, Ace of Pentacles, reverse the Chariot. So it's like, where is this going? I'm not seeing anything physically being built. What do we have to physically show for our relationship? This isn't about money or cars or houses. It's not so much that, but it's about you looking at things being like, when they make life decisions or they're making purchases, or are they working because they're thinking about what we're building together and you're not feeling included? That's kind of the feeling that I'm getting. The High Priestess, right? Super positive card. It talks about envisioning and what you're seeing. And what I like about the High Priestess is she's in a situation where she just sits and she observes. She doesn't really say anything. She doesn't have to. She's there to read the room and kind of take everything in and focus really on what her intuition is telling her or her internal kind of conversation. So she's not as communicative and warm and loving and friendly and visible as the Empress. She represents the darker side of the, female energy. So she sits there and she kind of assesses the situation and she doesn't really say much. She just takes it all in. So this can be talking about your dreams, your vision, your intuition, your interpretation, how you're seeing things, what your gut is telling you. And then the Ace of Pentacles reversed. Now, generally, this is a card that represents a seed, right? We like to see the aces upright offering you something. So when the hand's reversed, it's saying, it's taking the hand and be like, nope, I'm not allowing you to grow, or I'm not sharing wealth with you, or I'm not growing things with you. I'm not planting seeds with you. Can this be a card about money? Yeah, but it can also be about like, are we starting a savings account together? Are we talking about buying a house together? Are we, talking about buying a car together? Whatever. Are we talking about our values? And so there seems to be a lack of that going on. It's almost like stunted when it comes up reversed. And I think the Ace of Pentacles can also be saying that there is like a feel of not feeling supported, not feeling nurtured, not feeling cradled, not feeling the physical connection. It's less about sex, it's more about embracement, right? So you may be feeling like, okay, we're not connecting, or that the relationship is kind of turning cold because the element of earth is coming up and it's reversed. So there can be like a sense of the relationship feeling like it's cooling off a little bit. Then we have the Chariot card. Interesting, it makes a second appearance here, even after we shuffled the deck. So it talks about full steam ahead, moving forward. This is coming up in the same position as the last reading. So it's a sense of you being like, from my interpretation, I'm not feeling supported. I don't feel like we're building or growing towards the future. And you're about to make some crazy decisions. I don't think it's crazy. I think that they may think it's crazy. They may think that it's sudden. So this might be you suddenly pulling the rug out from underneath them and being like, peace, I'm leaving the relationship. Or we're not talking about, building a life together. So I need to start making some decisions for me, whether that's where you're living, what you're paying for things, where your life could take you in terms of work or other relationships or travel. Usually when this card comes up and you're like, I'm in a relationship, it does kind of feel very pulling the rug out, especially with these two cards coming up first. Like maybe it's been a period of you kind of holding back and not saying what you've been feeling or observing. And now you're getting to a point where you're like, okay, there's been some situations where they've had the opportunity to be more generous, or they've had the opportunity to kind of talk about building a future, and they haven't taken those opportunities to make me feel secure. So there in turn, I'm going to start making some decisions for myself. So yeah, they may start seeming a bit out of left field, just to be honest with you, or it may seem as if you're kind of going like, okay, it's time to get all of my ducks in a row and like figure out what's going to be best for me, because I'm not necessarily getting what I need from this person. Sometimes I get a confirmation card on the bottom, and the bottom card that I'm getting is the Queen of Cups, which is interesting because you're a Scorpio. So this can be talking about a female water sign, but it's also talking about following your emotions, where the High Priestess says you got to listen to your intuition. It doesn't necessarily mean she's very emotional. It's just she's just talking about her visions and what she's seeing. So the Queen of Cups is saying, what is your heart telling you? Is your heart telling you that it's time to get the show on the road and start really figuring out how you can make life happen? Is it starting to tell you that maybe you need to relocate, that maybe you do need to move, maybe there is a need to shake things up and start really thinking about where your personal life is going, right? The Chariot is about Cancer, so it's about your home, your family, your private life. It can be talking about trying to figure out where you want to live or if you want to have children, things of that nature. I would say personally also that some of these things may not come until like the summertime, okay? Because this does talk about Cancer. So on one hand, there's a Cancer full moon that's going to be coming, and that's not going to be, you know, happening for a little bit more time. I don't know when exactly. I don't have my chart in front of me. Let me see. So that can be one indication, maybe, will be the Cancer full moon. That's going to be January 20. Oh, no, I take that back. That's going to be, where is it? There we go. January 6th. Okay. So that's the next Cancer type energy that we're going to have, January 6th. If not, then you're looking at closer to the summertime next year, you know, if that makes sense. Yeah, Austin, you can do that. Sure. Especially anything in regards to your own personal life decisions, what your heart and what your emotions are telling you. If that's what you've been observing, then it's time to honor your emotions and really get clear about where it is that you are going and making that statement known, right? So that way you don't feel like you're kind of hanging around. Hopefully that's helpful for you. Good luck with that one. And I would say don't keep quiet, because the High Priestess is noticing some things that she needs to talk about. Good luck. Yeah, January 6th is going to be, it's not because of the date, because of that gnarly full moon. Good luck, Anna. Good luck. We've got Elsa, Austin, Asia, Amber, Amiko, Angeli, Wendy. We're going to call last call. Yep, just got you, Wendy. Last call at 8 o'clock. So you guys got 8 or 9 minutes here. Let's move to Elsa. Elsa says, I'm a Sag, Leo rising. He's an Aqua, Libra rising. Would love a love reading. Leo rising with Sag. I bet you're loving this energy right now. It's really good for all that fire in your chart. And he's a Libra rising, but Aquarius. So we've got double fire, double air. You guys fuel each other. Let's see what the cards say for you, Elsa. Hello, Wendy. Happy Saturday. Thanks for joining us. You guys can still get in the queue for another 7 or 8 more minutes. You can scan the QR code below. All readings are by donation. $20 for 1 card, $40 for 3. Get your readings, because I will not be here next week. I'm going to keep telling people that. Okay, so let's take a look for Elsa. Okay. You guys are not going to believe this, some of the same cards. I told you, I'm like, the devil's going to keep coming up. Very interesting, because you guys are air and fire. So there's literally none of those elements that are here. Kind of makes me laugh knowing that he's a Libra rising and his sun is in Aquarius, because Saturn's crossing his sun in the 5th house. So there's a lot of figuring out what he loves in general. I also think with the Ace of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles, that makes me feel like the relationship is like on lock. Like to an extent, like, you know, you're on lock. Like there's nothing, there's nothing that's gonna let the situation kind of pass you by, you know? There can be a rather healthy obsession, dare I say, in terms of this relationship. But there can also be a sense of him really valuing you. Like, you know, for a Libra rising, a lot of them are figuring out what they love and how to show love more now in a much more mature way, especially for an Aquarius sun. And then for you to be a Leo rising with Sag, Saturn's going into your 7th house. you've got all these planets now moving into Sagittarius, and Jupiter's also moving into Aries. So you're all about expansion, enjoying life, having fun. And it's really supportive for some of the transits that he's going through, because it can feel very heavy for a Libra rising Saturn Sun transit, excuse me. So obviously the devil has made his third appearance. He seems to think that that's pretty funny this evening. So obviously that says something. Like, I'll notice when we do readings, because we'll do like probably a dozen or more readings in one evening. And if a card keeps coming up, it's pretty safe to say that that energy is showing itself, and it's letting you know that it's a part of our collective conscious. So right now, we got heavy Saturn energy, tons of planets moving into Capricorn, Saturn's in Aquarius. I think this is saying a lot of people are asking themselves right now, is this healthy? Is this secure? Is this safe? Is this a bad idea? Perhaps maybe the devil in the previous position is kind of saying, like, both of you guys have had your hangups in relationships, right? Both of you guys have gone through issues revolving around whether or not you want commitment, or whether or not, you know, there can be faithfulness, or whether or not you're in healthy type relationships. It's in the past, so it is saying that, you know, maybe that you guys are moving out of this to some extent. Then we have the Ace of Pentacles coming up. So like I said, security, abundance, value, holding on to something, could be long-term, could have something to offer you. This also talks about the opportunity to grow together financially. So, you know, investing together, talking about starting businesses together, saving money together. I personally like that card coming up for a relationship spread, because it does say that this has the ability to kind of go the distance. There could be some longevity here to this relationship, and some physical growth between the two of you guys together, followed by the Queen of Pentacles. So that's why I laughed. Neither one of you guys have these elements coming up in your chart. But I think this is kind of saying you may have the upper hand in the situation. You know, it might be a situation where it's like, you know, that he's going to stay because you have a lot to offer him, or that he has seen the value in the relationship. And also there can be a sense of him realizing what he wants, going beyond just the physical connection and the intimacy, and just having like a sexual partner for fun. He's investing more time, and he's realizing that relationships need to mature, and sometimes it's better not just to go towards what you're tempted to go towards, but something that's actually going to provide you with substance. So I think that he's seeing that substance, and he might worship you and treat you like a queen. So that's a really, some people would look at this and laugh and go like, there's no problems here, like you've got it on lock. And there's some truth to that, but I think it's not just because he sees the value. There seems to be some sense of like really being able to check all the boxes and satisfy all of the needs, not just emotionally and physically, but like sexually as well. So it looks like it's a really good connection and an opportunity for you guys to grow, you know? Also says, lastly though, he's calling me less. Ace of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles can be cards that come up that's basically talking about like routine, physical routine, going through the motions, being in a situation where there's just, you know, like, okay, I'm here. Whenever you need me, I'm here. Like there may be a need to kind of spice things up a little bit, because these cards are all heavier cards. So it might mean that maybe he's seeing it as like, I know she's there. You know, all I have to do is call her, or, you know, I know she's going to be there. You can shake it up a little bit. Like you don't always have to be available. I feel like the Devil card can be also indicating that there can be a sense of like showing him what, not what he can't have, but reminding him of what connection you guys do have, and the fact that he's going to have to kind of work for it. The fact that the Ace of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles is coming up, especially because this is offering to the Queen, makes me feel like there's going to be an actual exchange. So there can be a sense of him being like, I want to take you out. I want to give you a gift. I want to spend time with you. But remember that when the Queen is coming up, especially with an ace, like she has possession over something. So if the Devil's coming up, it can be letting go or releasing doubt, or feeling like he's not going to show up, or that he's not valuing you. Like she's basically the one holding all the cards here. She's the one that's in control. So it's about reminding you that if he wants to stay connected, he's going to have to put forward the effort. If that makes sense. But I don't see him like going anywhere. I feel like this is like a situation where if you were to crack the whip and be like, why haven't I seen you? He'd be like, oh, okay, let's get together. You'd like snap out of it very quickly. Good luck. I don't see anybody else. Those cards didn't come up, don't worry. What's on the bottom of the deck? Let's see, I put those on the top. Yeah, bottom of the deck is the Queen of Wands. So that is on the bottom of the deck as the confirmation card, which is interesting because there are 2 queens coming up, but I don't see that as being another person because there weren't other cards coming up saying there were other people. So to come up with the Ace of Coins and the Queen of Coins and have that shift to the Queen of Wands, I feel like is about you adding a little bit more spice to the situation and being like, hey, remember me? Yeah, let's reconnect, or doing something that's going to kind of like ignite his curiosity and bring you guys back together in a more kind of passionate way. Good luck. Anjali's back. We got a couple of people that popped in. Okay, 2 questions. Oh, you're adding on to your card. Got it. Got it, got it, got it. Let's see who we've got in here now. Okay, so now we've got Austin. So readings are now closed. Guys, they are closed. If we can let everybody know in the banner. So let's take Austin. I think he got in there with, he wanted to do 3 cards. And after Austin, we have Asya, Amber, and Amiko. Let's see. Austin, did you have a particular question? You're welcome. I see you wanted to do 3 cards. Cool. Gemini Sun, Taurus Moon, Sag Rising, Mercury, Cancer, Venus, Venus and Taurus, Mars and Scorpio, Jupiter. Okay. Got you, Wendy. Yep, you guys are in. I will let you know when you're on deck. There's about 7 or 8 people before you guys. So we're doing tarot. But I'll take your info. Your old partner is Scorpio Sun, Aquarius Moon, Aries, Scorpio Rising. So what is your question? Because we're going to be doing tarot. Yep, I got everybody. Don't worry. I'm moving on from a relationship from an old partner after 4 years. She had a Scorpio stellium of Sun, Mercury, Venus, Pluto. Whoa, composited onto my 12th house. Okay. Composite or synastry? So do you want to know what things look like post-relationship? Do you have a particular question? Okay, composite. Trying to move on with your new partner. Okay, so you want me to ask the cards, what does it look like in terms of moving on? All you need to say is Scorpio stellium. My old partner is tugging at my heartstrings and won't leave me alone. Okay, got it. Okay, so your new partner is a Cancer, Sun, Aries, Moon. Got it. Okay. Your old partner. Got it, got it, got it, got it, got it. And what's your Sun, Moon, and Rising? So let's see what it looks like in terms of moving on. All right, so we have the 7 of Coins, excuse me, 5 of Wands, Strength reversed. Confirmation card is the 3 of Wands. So the good news is like, yeah, you're moving on, okay? But the final card being the Strength card makes me feel like you can't force that, right? It's like, it's one thing if you've met someone and you're kind of getting a feel for that and you're like really trying to be in the relationship, but Strength reverse being the last card, I'll work my way there, but it makes me feel like you can't force it, okay? So let's look at how those spread starts. The spread starts with 7 of Coins, which means there's like a lot of like reevaluating post-relationship and kind of going like, okay, is this going to work? You know, am I wasting my time? Is this ever going to get better? Like there is a sense of being, I'm not going to say overly consumed, but when you think of what the card means, you know, you plant your seeds and you're hoping that it's a situation where, you know, the crops are going to grow and everything's going to pan out, because if it doesn't, you don't eat, right? So I look at this and being like, okay, 7 of coins is you going like, well, I'm really going to try to put energy and time into this new relationship. And I really hope it works out, because I'm really working very hard to like not go back to where I was. And, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but this also makes me feel like there is a sense of you liking relationships that require work, or they are a little bit more challenging. 5 of Wands makes me feel that. The Strength reverse makes me feel that. Perhaps maybe like you're used to have been being in a relationship where there was some combativeness or fierceness or intensity. And so like shifting into a completely different relationship dynamic, even though obviously, you know, like you've got somebody that has some kind of spice. Obviously, Aries Sun, Sag Moon. To me, it looks like it may not be as challenging, right? And so there can be some sense of you being like, I don't understand, it's not hitting the same. Having like Aries and Leo placements, I mean, I have an Aries moon. It's very different than having Scorpio, because the Aries Leo is like, I need attention and, you know, like, let's just have playtime and like, leave me alone and give me my space. All of the Scorpio stuff is going to be like pushing, pulling away. And so there is a sense of creating that chase that goes on, right, with the Scorpio placement. So it's very different. I feel like with the 5 of Wands, it's also like this feeling of an uphill battle of trying to get over the last relationship. It has nothing to do with the person that you're with now, that you're constantly fighting off feelings or fighting off perhaps reaching out, or there can even be some sense of you not being conscious or aware that you may be more prone to creating some problems in a current relationship, because you may not be totally entertained, or there may be a sense of just like you not realizing that you may carry over some patterns from your previous relationship where there is some combativeness that goes on, because that might have been kind of the dynamic that you had in the last relationship. Then we have the Strength card reverse, which is generally, I mean, the Strength card is about like letting love grow, right? It's like letting things kind of come to you and letting people kind of win you over or warm you up, or falling in love in a way that doesn't feel forced. And so the Strength card reversed, to me, kind of makes me feel like you were kind of in limbo, or maybe right around the time that you connected with your new partner, there was this sense of you questioning whether or not you were going to get through the breakup, or whether or not you really wanted to like actually be by yourself. I'm not saying you got into the relationship because you didn't want to be alone, but like definitely there was a sense of being like, okay, I'm not getting over this. Do I just need to move on? And now that you're moving on, you're like, okay, it's still not going away. What do I do? The good news is that you are going to move on. The 3 of Wands is a card that's about moving on and being able to see what else is out there. But I also feel like this is basically saying you can't force it. So the only way that I would recommend, or the only situation I would recommend getting out of your new relationship, is if you really genuinely feel like you're still not getting over your old partner. At that point, like you're gonna know, like you might be, you know, hanging around and reevaluating this closer to February. You may give it until that full moon that you're gonna have in Leo. Because to me, it seems like you need about another 7 weeks to kind of work through this and see if like it starts to kind of work away. Ironically, I don't think going back is an option either, because either way, 6 of Wands is saying you're going to move on. So just going back to that person doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to fix the situation and you're going to feel fulfilled because you go back. I think it's a matter of undoing some of the patterning and realizing that this is going to take time. And if you're not willing to give it time, at least in your current relationship, then you might realize that you're fighting an uphill battle and that you may be better actually being off on your own for a little bit until you're really able to kind of move past this. But not forcing it is the thing. And when I say not forcing it, I'm not saying not forcing not getting over the ex. I'm saying don't force the relationship that you're in because you're feeling like if you push the river with that, then you're going to forget that other person. No. It's about being present with the relationship that you're in, letting it take its course, and also at the same time, not feeling like you're having to push the relationship so you can forget the other person. Moving forward with a new person and getting over your ex, they're on two completely different timelines, if that makes sense to you. So I would encourage you to really be present. And within maybe about 7 weeks time, if you're in a situation closer to February, if you're still feeling the same way, possibly considering whether or not it's time to take space from the new relationship. Because personally, I don't think getting underneath somebody else is going to help you get over your ex, if that's what you were looking to do. No offense. Yeah. But the good news is that you will move on. And I would say in your defense, I think a lot of what's coming up is some combative tendencies that you had from the old relationship that's kind of coming back up, that you would have whenever things would get stagnant, that you were used to kind of having some quarrels, but it kept things interesting, and you're not really going to get that so much from somebody who has some of the placements that you have. They're not as there isn't like as much of a sense, I don't know, like Aries Leo just feels like kind of lighthearted and fun, and they'll get kind of feisty and they drop it. But like Scorpio definitely has a tendency of being a little bit more darker in terms of their personality, and they may do things just to to get a reaction out of people. So very, very different dynamic. Give that until about February, but you'll know what to do if it's time to go, Good luck, Austin. Good luck. Yeah, once you've had a Scorpio stellium, there's no going back. It's not for the faint of heart. We have a tendency to ruin people, That's just what we do. We've got Asia, Amber, Emiko, Angeli, Wendy, Rachel. All right, so Angeli, you extended yours. Got it? Good luck, Austin. All right, so Angeli, it looks like you extended to, 3-card spread. Oh no, hello, it's Asia. I'm reading and I'm reading two people. Sorry, guys. Okay, so Asia, then I saw that you extended Angeli. All right, so Asia says, 3-card spread. What's new that's coming up in my love life? Every time I pull my own cards, my ex comes up, so I want more clarity on what's next, new, coming, not the past, timeline, when I should be looking for. Thank you. Love you. Oh, Rachel, you know my pain then. It's the scorpion's kiss. Hello, new subscriber. Welcome. All right, so let's take a look and see what's coming new for Asia. We don't want to see her ex anymore. We want to know what the timeline is and what you should be looking for. And I swear to God, if I pull the devil again, I'm going to lose my shit. She'll be like, yeah, that's him. That's the devil. That's him. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there we go. No double, thankfully. He's somewhere in there. He'll pop up again. So we've got the three of Wands, followed by the 7 of Cups and the Justice card. Interesting, because to me this seems like moving forward and kind of reworking, reevaluating. This can also be talking about your dreams, what visions you're having. What dreams and what visions you're having and what opportunities you have. The 7 of Cups makes me feel like there's also some sense of, not like doors are open, but there's still some cloudiness that's going on. This can be talking about getting overwhelmed with other things in your life as well. But let's start at the beginning. So three of Wands is like, I'm off to see what's new. I'm already open to new adventures, new connections, new people. You've already opened the door. So there's nothing that you really need to do right now. Things are already moving forward. This also talks about like opportunities for travel, adventure, going places, like new places, new experiences, and really focused on forward movement. Followed by the 7 of Cups, which talks about choices, options, other people. It can also be talking about like deceptions, things that are mysterious, things that are not clear. When I see this card, I think of like, you know, when you go on like a game show and people say like, okay, is it going to be door number 1, 2, or 3? And you don't know which one you're going to pick. And then you pick one and then you see what else those other options could have been. That's kind of like this card. So there can be a sense of getting so overwhelmed with several different areas of your life right now. And keep in mind, this is the right now that you're like, I've got this going on and this going on and this going on and this going on and this going on, that your energy can be scattered. Like there can be a sense of not being wholeheartedly, completely invested and focused on love right now. And that's okay, because the Seven of Cups says I have mixed feelings, right? It can also be talking about mixed feelings and mixed company. So having other people that kind of come in or that you kind of connect with that somehow can cloud your vision. So I would say it's about getting clear right now about how you want to feel moving forward, what you're willing to invest your time in, not getting overly consumed with things that may not be a good emotional match for you. Vibrationally, sometimes when this card comes up in the center position, I always tell my clients like, okay, you might be saying you're open to love and relationships, but you've got about 8 other things that's on your plate right now that need your immediate attention. That has nothing to do with dating, it has nothing to do with relationships that you might need to be clearing out first, right? So then we have the Justice card coming up, which is great. That's where I would want to see this card in the final position, because it can be an indication of a relationship. Justice, Ace of Cups, 2 of Cups, sometimes 4 of Wands, sometimes the Lovers, 10 of Cups. These are all cards that talk about relationships. But to me, it seems like the relationship is the fruit after kind of clearing out all of the other things, or getting more into alignment with the other areas of your life. So it can be work, it can be health, it can be, traveling times. It can also be about figuring out other goals that you might have outside of these things and kind of getting clarity with what direction you see your life going in. And once you get those things in order, then the Justice card comes in and goes, okay, great. You got that worked out. You got rebalanced. You got recentered. Now we're going to bring you somebody who's been doing the same thing, and they're more going to be a match. Specifically, this can be connected to, full moons or things in Libra, which we're going to have in the spring. This can also be connected to the sign Libra. So you can be bringing in Libra sun, Libra moons, Libra risings. It can also mean that you're actually finally getting balanced and bringing somebody in who's like looking for serious commitment, connection, long-term partnerships. But it can also be partnerships at work, partnerships that you meet out in the world that can be platonic. Justice is about cause and effect. So there is this like sense of like, you weighing things out right now and kind of going like, okay, did I do the work that I needed to do to clear out the old? If I have, great, then I'm going to bring somebody in who's going to be a vibrational match. But these cards to me seem right now it's more about action, adventure, opportunity, spontaneity, the opportunity to kind of have connections. Really paying attention to dreams might be really important with the 7 of Cups coming up as well, that there might be like more symbolic things coming in your dream space that may be alluding that you're getting ready to make a really significant connection in terms of relationships, but there's still a sense of getting some ducks in order right now. And if you're feeling really consumed by other life things, which have nothing to do with relationships, kind of getting that ironed out a little bit over these next couple of weeks might be really ideal. So that way you're bringing somebody in where you have the time and the space and the mental capacity and also like the ability to be present with the relationship, because it's kind of saying right now between travel and some other things you have going on, I'm not saying you can't date, but it doesn't really seem like things are going to calm down for about 7 weeks or so. So that's basically going to be taking you into the beginning of February or mid-February-ish. And that's right around the time that you're going to see opportunities to kind of connect. Just knowing that you're a Scorpio rising and that you've got Saturn going into your whole sign 5th. Yeah, you're going to see that about like March on with Saturn in the 5th house. You get really serious about relationships. And I would say definitely looking at some of those eclipses that are still coming in is definitely going to bring some time. Okay, cool. February too. Perfect. Yeah, I would also look out for people who have connections to contracts, legal stuff, if they're attorneys, if they manage people and focus on like agreements or agreements that have to be negotiated or signed. That might also be another indication of like what's kind of coming up. And then, yeah, the clarifier is Page of Cups. So it is saying that there is a new emotional connection that's coming in. But that can be also a combination of Libra and water placements. So specifically, Page of Cups for me is generally Pisces. It can be, you know, it can be Cancer, it can be Cancer, or it can be Scorpio. But generally, this is some kind of Pisces placement. And young, emotional connection, romantic, somebody who's kind of like poetic and definitely trying to like wine and dine you can come in. And generally this is like a younger person. Doesn't mean they have to be younger than you, but it's a younger person. They have like a younger energy to them. But Page of Cups is an emotional card. It talks about relationships and partnerships and the opportunity to say yes when somebody says you want to go and grab a drink, you want to go to dinner, you want to hang out for a little bit. It's going to be something that's going to start off more kind of playful usually, or something that's just like a little bit more kind of like cat and mouse, but it can evolve into something that can be very justice, which can be a really great connection and somebody who can be serious about being a partner. Hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully you clear up that Seven of Cups stuff, because I would say when that card comes up for me, it's always like an indication that my energy is scattered. So I usually will create a vision board. So I can get very clear with like, okay, I've got all this other shit going on that's like flying around. So let me be very specific about what my vision is. So create a vision board, or something you can use is use like Canva or something, one of those programs on your phone. Make a little vision board, put it on your phone, use it as your phone lock screen. And then also you can, you know, physically make a vision board if you want, or put it on your laptop. I just say that because it's going to be something you're literally going to see every day, right? We're always looking at our phone. So to show the universe, hi, I have clarity, make like literally a collage of all the things that you're manifesting. Hopefully that's helpful for you. Good luck on your traveling. That's going to be fun. All right, so we've got Amber, Amiko, Angeli, and then Wendy and Rachel. Amber, and don't worry, I've got the two people also that are on, or not two people. Lise, am I saying that correct? I know you've got 3 cards. I did not forget you, don't worry. You were in here. Nope, I got you. You are about 2 or 3 people away. Okay, so we have Amber. She says, I'd like to have a 3-card pull to see what's going on with a Scorpio that I've been seeing for the last 6 months. He seems distant. Cancer Sun, Virgo Moon, and Pisces Rising. Okay, so you're Pisces Rising, Cancer Sun, Virgo Moon. Okay, and he is a Scorpio Sun, Pisces Moon, Pisces Rising. Our 2 risings are conjunct by a degree, considered karmic. Yeah, I would say so. You guys are very similar in terms of that. So that's always nice to have the same rising sign, especially when it's so close in degrees, because well, first of all, his moon is somewhere along your ascendant, but still, you guys are going to go through the same transits at the same time, so that always helps, right? That way you're kind of both tackling the same things. All right, so let's see for Amber, what is going on with this Scorpio? Oh my God, triple water. Let's see. Ooh, that will be my confirmation card, because that one jumped. Okay, so let's see what these cards say about the Scorpio. Scorpio stellium on top of that triple water. As a Scorpio stellium, I sincerely apologize. We don't mean to be the way that we are. There's the High Priestess. She's popping up again in the same position. High Priestess, 7 of Swords, 4 of Cups. Well, I mean, here's the thing. I get the vibe with the High Priestess and the 7 of Swords that you're like, yeah, something's up. And you know, just being a Cancer Sun, Pisces Rising, when you're like, yeah, something's up, generally it is. And this doesn't mean there's another person, okay? Like, other cards would be coming up if that's the case. But I feel like the High Priestess is kind of saying that you're like, okay, something's going on, it seems off, What is this person not telling me? Like, am I not getting the whole story? Like, what's going on? What's the problem, right? Pisces risings in general, Jupiter and Neptune are in your sign. So even if it's not aspecting your ascendant exactly, or his moon, it definitely is this feeling of like, I'm lost, I'm swimming in the cosmic soup, everybody's around me. You could be in a room full of people, still feel alone right now. That's just the way it is. Because of those conjunctions in the first house, because Mars is retrograde in the fourth house, nowhere feels like home, because all the oppositions are happening in the 10th house, it's very overwhelming for you guys. And I think that with these two cards together, it's basically saying that you should not listen to your intuition. You have to listen to your intuition right now because something is up. And the truth is, I think he's depressed. Whenever the Seven of Swords comes up with the Four of Cups, there's this feeling of like, it's not that somebody's being shady. It's that somebody is literally not knowing how to reach out, not knowing how to connect with the world right now, especially knowing that he's got a Pisces moon. Saturn's coming into your guys' sign pretty soon. There's a Mercury retrograde that's getting ready to happen, also in your 11th house. And Mercury rules both of your guys' 7th house, Virgo. So as a Pisces rising, it's a good time to reconnect with friends or reconnect and talk to your partner about what their goals are. And you may find that he just says to you, like, I'm just having a hard time just keeping things moving right now. I'm feeling kind of stuck, or I'm feeling kind of stagnant. The Four of Cups is a card that does talk about feeling like FOMO. So there can be the sense of you being like, okay, well, if he's not checking in with me, I'm going to go and do other things. And you might talk to him and he'll be like, well, what about me? You forgot about me. It's less about him keeping secrets and not, really being interested. It's more about him, I think, having a very difficult time emotionally right now. And you may find that if you pick up and you start kind of going out and doing things and you reconnect with him, you're going to be like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm just at home. The Four of Cups is kind of like a pouting card and like not really checked in and not really doing anything. So it's not that he's choosing to spend time with other people other than you. I think he's having a really hard time getting out of his funk. Now let's see, is he going to come out of it? This was the confirmation card. The confirmation card is the Emperor. It's about letting him take the lead. So personally, I don't think this is going to be you not being in touch with him, because the High Priestess is actually a really interesting combination with the Emperor. She knows that she has to let him take the lead. She has to let him make the moves, take the action. But also he does so sometimes with the advice of the High Priestess. So, it's like a thing where you have to like let him think it's his idea. So maybe it's a matter of connecting with him casually and like letting him go, oh, well, maybe we should see each other. And you go, okay, fine. Then you can, you make those plans. He kind of just blocked me. Yeah, I mean, Seven of Swords and the Four of Cups is somebody who is literally emotionally unavailable right now. They're not able to make any moves, and it has nothing to do with other people. It has more to do with the fact that he's not able to proceed forward. He doesn't know what's going to make him happy. He doesn't know what he wants. But that coming up with the confirmation of the Emperor card, it can talk about people making definitive decisions, or somebody being like, okay, this is the way that it's going to go, or taking some kind of action. But I don't see it being anything that has to do with you. I see it more being having to do with him, especially if you look at the Four of Cups. There's the Three of Cups that's in front of him, which means he could have relationships, partnerships, he could socialize. He's got his arms folded and he's pouting, and he doesn't see the Ace of Cups that's being offered to him, meaning somebody's basically saying, do you want to join me? Do you want to be in a relationship? Do you want to spend time together? Do you want to be together? And he's like, no, I can't take what you're offering me, And I think the High Priestess, Seven of Swords, is like, no, there's something else that's going on here. So I don't think it's a matter of other people. I think it's a matter of him literally being unable to show up right now. And if he's going to make some move or he's going to take some action, it's almost better for it to be this way until you're going to kind of get him to do more. Because this energy feels very wet blanket to me. It's like, what does he have to offer you? What is he bringing to the table? Especially when he's going through something and he can't even be upfront and honest with you about the fact that he's not knowing how to communicate or not knowing how to be available emotionally right now. Let him be. If he's going to make moves, let him make moves on his own, because you can't force him to want to show up, because he's not having the ability to even do that for himself right now. And personally, there's a cause and effect to these cards. If you're going, okay, I'm seeing what's happening, I'm going to decide to go in my own direction, you not spending time with him or reaching out to him or trying to connect with him and letting him come to you is really the only way that this is going to work. He has to be the one who's going to be making the moves and making things happen. The High Priestess knows not to kind of step out of her comfort zone and say anything or approach him, because it has to be once he's ready, you know? But yeah, something is up here, but I don't think it's somebody else personally. I think it's just his inability to communicate and socialize at the moment. Bit of a bummer. Come back, circle back. Let us know what happens. That's a difficult one. I'm sorry to hear that. Who else do we have? Amiko, and then we are going to have the super chat. You're welcome. I like your screen name. Let your light shine. Amiko says, moved to Hawaii last month, quit my corporate job doing work trade on a farm, but it's a lot harder than I expected, and I don't want to stay longer than the 3-month minimum I agreed to. It's just tough, and I'm not really sure what I'm doing here, even though there's a reason. But since I don't have a job right now, finding my own place is not an option, and I'd like to stay in Hawaii. I'm an Aries sun, Pisces rising, Taurus moon. I know you said sense of home for us right now is a bit up in the air, so I have a sense I'll be moving around the island before I find my true home. My question is, what type of action should I take now? Should I start looking for a job already? My savings will last me long, or should I look for another trade work for an accommodation? Whatever spirit wants me to know. Let's take a look. Amiko, man, you Pisces risings with all of those retrogrades. The Mars retrograde taking place in your 4th. And as a Pisces rising, you're about to have a Mercury retrograde in your 11th house, which is about networking. Networking, networking, networking. Hello, Yomi. Yeah, networking is so important for you guys right now, especially because it's in Capricorn. So it's about meeting other people and collaborating with groups so you can find work. That is helpful. So let's take a look here and see what actions you should be taking. Not yet, but it's a good time when you have a Mercury retrograde. All right, so here's what I have for you. I have the 2 of Coins, the King of Cups, the Lovers. Wowzers. You're looking for options and opportunities. You may have more than one, because the Lovers card talks about doubles. 2 of Coins talks about doubles. So weighing your options, kind of going like, okay, my money's only going to last so long. But also this is about you kind of going, do I do this or do I do that? Which one is going to kind of pay off the most? Which opportunity is going to pay off the most? Mercury going retrograde as a Pisces rising in your 11th house is a reevaluation of your goals. Mercury rules your 7th, so a reevaluation of partnerships, people you can collaborate with. Capricorn is work, so it's actually really good for your sign. It's going to make positive aspects in your chart also. Sextiles to Neptune in your 1st house. It's going to help you feel less alone. This is about money and time management, not spending too much time looking for something, not spending too much money on things, really reevaluating, budgeting, and weighing your options. It might mean that you go, okay, I agreed to be here for 3 months. So I'm going to be here for 3 months, but I'm also lining things up. And if I find a job sooner, does that mean that I can go, right? Does that mean that I leave? Weighing your options and deciding if it's a good move. It may mean that you're going to be there for 2 months total. It's possible, because this is my 2-month card. And I do see this being about you being picky or particular, but I don't really feel like it's just about being picky for the sake of being picky. It's about you finding something that's going to feel safe, secure, and a good financial option. King of Cups can be that you have a connection with a guy. You might meet a man who's a water sign. He can have lighter skin, lighter hair. It can be somebody who's really sensitive and really emotional. You might meet him near the beach or near water. He might work with boats. He might work with food and drink. He might work with parties. He might have something connected to pools or fountains. Like, he might have some kind of connection to that. And the Lovers card, I mean, you're looking for like work support, but you might find somebody who, like, it becomes more than that. It could be a romantic interest, honestly, because the King of Cups talks about sometimes an emotional connection, or somebody who is going to take an interest in you, or somebody who's like, what are you doing here? What are you doing? You know, what are you working on? Or I know somebody, or I can connect you to someone. But the Lovers talks about getting more than one thing. So it might mean that you have two offers. It might mean that there's an offer that comes in and it happens to be somebody who's got an emotional connection to you. It might mean that you meet somebody and you're like, okay, I've got this guy who's willing to kind of help me out, but I feel like this might not be the best idea because I'm not really interested in him emotionally. I have a feeling, just looking at the cards, that the Two of Coins is you being like, should I take this offer? You know, I've got somebody who's interested in me, but they're telling me that they can help me find work and they might, you know, have a place that'd be willing to host me. He may offer to host you, as crazy as that sounds. And the Seven of Coins is kind of confirming what I was saying, that you're like, okay, well, I hope this pays off. Obviously, like, you know, be careful. Don't be gullible. If somebody offers you a situation that feels too good to be true, yeah, there may be some strings attached. It might be somebody who's like, well, this is a cute girl and she needs some help and she's looking for a job. And like, yeah, don't just move in with a stranger, obviously. But if it's somebody who's willing to connect you and says, hey, you know, I see that you need some help. I want to get to know you. Let me introduce you to somebody. You know, they'll help you kind of find some work. And it's safe, great. But watch for the strings that are being attached here, because to me, it's seeming like there's going to be more than just an interest in helping you out and helping you find a job. It might be somebody that's trying to pursue you. But the cards don't seem dangerous. The cards don't seem scary. Obviously, these are all brightly colored cards. So I don't see this being like a situation that you need to be worried about, but really reevaluate, because somebody might be very warm and generous, but it might be because they also have other intentions. So make it very clear, hey, this is business. You know, we're working together. Or if you're going to pay me to do a job, it's going to be for me to do the job. It's not a romantic connection, because this guy can be kind of charming and it can be hard to kind of turn him down. You know what I'm saying? But the Lovers card coming up with the Two of Coins says there's going to be options. So you're going to go, okay, this looks really good. It's tempting. This guy's basically saying, you know, I can go and stay on a boat and, you know, help take care of people and I'd have somewhere to live, or I'm going to go and stay in somebody's house and he's going to give me a job. But what's the catch? You have to weigh those options. But likely, I don't think you're going to be there longer than 2 months. And worst case scenario, being picky and finding a job that you know that's going to pay and it's going to provide you, that's where you're going to be picky, right? And yeah, I mean, you're going to have more than one option is what I can see. You're going to be able to choose. Do I want to take this or do I want to take that? But I don't see you staying at the place that you're volunteering at longer than about 2 months. And the Seven of Coins tells me that it may still be in something connected to working with the environment, taking care of plants, growing food, something like that. The romantic connection is safe. Yeah, just make it defined. If somebody's trying to help you find a job and they're offering you, you know, a position and they're willing to pay you, it needs to be very clear, like, this is work. This is not a romantic connection. Or you might find that somebody wants to help you find a job and then there's like a curiosity that grows and somebody has a bit of a crush on you. But this is saying at the very least, you're going to be able to have a job and feel like you have your needs met. Right? Seven of Coins is having your needs met. So you're like, okay, I hope this works out. Look for jobs that might be like in catering or working still with like food ops or growth or working with plants or anything kind of connected to agriculture, but it may not necessarily be manual labor. I see it being something that's still connected to the element of earth. So, okay. And you'll see him. He'll be by water. Or he'll work somehow connected to water because the King of Cups was coming up. Good luck. How is Hawaii? I hear it's raining a lot there right now. Okay, so we have Angeli, Wendy, Rachel, and Angeli again. Windy and raining. Angeli says, hey Candace, I've been interested in a Scorpio sun, Aqua moon. It matches me. My moon is Libra, my Venus is Aqua. It's so cool how it works. Anyway, wondering if he would be good to me and if we were to go forward. If anything fire comes out, please share. Sure. So Scorpio Aqua moon. I know a few of those and I think they're wet blankets. Honestly, no offense to anybody, but maybe it's just all my Aquarius. I could never. Or all my Scorpio. I have a North Node in Aquarius. I could never. And then you also wanted to know if Yes, gotcha. Okay. So 3 cards on that for you, Angelie. Let's take a look. That's just me. It might be different for you because you have Libra. Let's see what the cards say. I feel like Scorpio Sun, Aquarius Moons, they really like overanalyze their emotions. You know, you see like the Aquarius come out where like they don't know how to always be super sensitive and super vulnerable. They're harder to read. My sister's a Scorpio Sun, Aquarius Moon. An interesting combination. Okay, so let's see what we see for Angelie's dude. And I also want to pull his info up again so I can read it. Okay, so here's what I get. I get the Moon, the Hanged Man, the Ace of Pentacles. Ooh! For me, there is a sense of, obviously, Ace of Pentacles is feeling like that's a solid connection. You know, that there's opportunity for growth there. There's an ability for you to be able to feel safe and secure in that dynamic. I love the fact that his Moon is in the same sign as your Venus. That's extra sweet. Especially when it comes to just being able to share your emotions in a way that your Venus understands, right? Like he'll be able to just speak his mind and your Venus is like, yeah, I get it. And also the fact that, you know, his Moon is going to trine your Moon and you have Pisces in your chart. So obviously that's going to be good if he's a Scorpio Sun. I'm really referencing the Moon stuff because the Moon is saying, yeah, but how does it feel, right? Like, what does it feel like intuitively? How do you guys connect in a personal way? When you guys are by yourself behind the scenes, does it feel safe or does it feel scary? The Moon card is a card that talks about things that are still getting ready to be unveiled to you. It's about your intuition. It may reference spending a lot more time together at night. These are both PM cards. So just knowing that, you know, he's got a bit of Scorpio and you have a bit of Pisces, you might just feel like naturally talking late at night, being up on the phone, spending time together, or just having private time together at night is kind of the weird building blocks of your relationship. But there might be a sense of things being more active during the nighttime because you guys have those placements. The Hangman coming up is also saying that in a way, you're taking time to pause and reflect. Like there is a sense of you being like, wow, this is kind of scary, but this is kind of cool. And like, I don't know how to react and I don't know how to respond. I feel like it's good to have that feeling right now. The Hangman makes me feel like you're not rushing things. It's not being forced, that you're integrating the more time that you spend together. Like, wow, like there is like a real sense of just things kind of coming naturally. It's a card that also talks about meditation. So being in a state in this relationship where you don't feel super anxious or you don't feel super worried, or it's kind of like, oh, I'm calm. Things are happening as they should happen. I'm navigating the relationship I'm in a sense of like a meditative state. And not really feeling like you need to make any moves and being present, like just being, right? And feeling like, okay, I don't need to push this. And the enlightenment that comes from being able to be in a relationship and being with somebody and being authentic and being yourself, then the fact that it just makes you feel calm. You know, you hear like people talk about like, oh my God, they give me butterflies or this or that, and they get like so like worked up. This is quite the opposite. It's just kind of like, okay, it just is. You don't need to do anything other than be yourself. That's really cool. Followed by the Ace of Pentacles, which to me feels like a sense of like leveling up, or planting seeds for the future, really seeing a lot of opportunity for stability and maturity and kind of coming together and being able to be together for a longer period of time. It might be about a gift exchange, an offer, something that somebody gives you. It can be, you know, a gift. It can be also talking about the future, that the gift can be, well, where is this going, right? Especially over the next month. This is my month card. This is my lunar card. So it is saying within the next lunar cycle, just feeling things out and seeing how things kind of come together, especially knowing that Saturn is still hanging around your Venus and his Moon. In a man's chart, the moon is usually about his wife. When you have Saturn transit your Venus as a man or a woman, there are karmic things that happen in relationships where very important people come into your life, usually within that transit. So I don't know how close it is to your particular Venus, but just having spoken to you over the last year or so, and Saturn's been in that sign, you definitely see people come in that you have to do karmic work with. And then usually somewhere towards the end of that transit, people have kind of come or gone. And then suddenly you meet somebody, and like that could be Saturn's gift. When I had Saturn transiting my Venus a couple years ago, it was going back and forth over my Venus. And as it was leaving my Venus, it's when I met my husband. So I think that, you know, there may be something very karmic at play with that Saturn transit. Yeah, he talks about orienting that. He will say like now, yeah. So he'll show you with action, basically, because the Ace of Pentacles is slow, steady security. So he'll make you a priority. He will physically make the time. He will go out of his way. He will give you the gifts. He will make you dinner. Like, he'll show you. And Scorpio, Sun, Aquarius, Moon, like I said, they're not the most emotional people. So if you have somebody that's doing that, I mean, that's really awesome. And, you know, eclipses, especially for Scorpio suns, are very significant over the next 2 years because it's about serious commitment in relationships. And Ace of Pentacles is interesting. I mean, it's not like a hot and heavy card. It's a card that's like, okay, it's security. It also makes you feel safe, and it makes you feel wanted, but in a mature way. It's not like super heated and passionate and like burns up overly quick. No, you've got the moon in the hangman, which is like, oh, this is a little disorienting. Like, I've got somebody who likes me and I like them. Like, what's the catch? And like, there's no craziness. What am I missing here? What am I not seeing? So it's saying that instead of like asking those questions, you're just holding back and you're waiting and you're giving it a month to see how this pans out. But that's one of the cards that come up for long-term committed relationships, and knowing that you have something that has room to grow, and it can definitely be a long-standing relationship potential. You'll know more within the next month. But yeah, the fact that you're able to be in the relationship and be yourself, and you're like, oh, this is odd, that's a good thing. I'm excited to see what happens, because for both of your guys' placements, it's a very strong time for karmic connections with people who may hang around. A Saturn cycle is 29 years, almost 29 years in most cases. Hopefully that's helpful for you, Angelie. Okay, so we will have Wendy and Rachel. I'm going to pop over. I'm going to take my super chat. Thank you for your patience. Let me scroll up and find you. I know you're here. Lise, am I to move in 2023? 3 cards. Let's take a look. Is it Lenise? Am I saying it correctly? Let me know. Are you to move in 2023? Wendy and Rachel, you guys are always last call at the bar. It's always you guys. Angeli too. Let's take a look. Lisa. Okay, thank you. Every time. Thank you, Lisa. So let's see, is she to move in 2023? All right, so we have Page of Pentacles, 3 of Wands. Ooh, 6 of Swords. Somebody's moving. You're moving when your vision and your money is right. These are the 2 things that you're getting in order before you make a move. This is my move card, okay? So 6 of Swords is one of my maybe 3 or 4 definite move cards. So if people ask me if they're moving, that card comes up. Generally, it's a yes. Page of Pentacles is like really thinking about spending your time and your money wisely. So obviously anybody who's moved, you guys know it can be expensive. Packing and moving things and being able to buy new things and deposits and down payments and all that stuff, it's not cheap. So the Page of Pentacles is probably about coming up with a plan, the beginning process of where am I putting my money, or where am I investing? Where am I going to get my money's worth Do I need to start setting money aside? Am I going to be moving to a new city? What is it going to be like there? Am I going to have work there? There's a lot of financial things that are going on right now. So if you're doing it in the same city, that's fine, but Page of Pentacles says you still have some financial planning. This also means that you might be thinking more about new or innovative ways to be able to have more stability or security. So sometimes that card comes up where somebody's like, do I want to buy? Do I want to spend more? Do I want to spend less? What do I value? So you're really coming up with a plan, especially over the next 3 months, because the Three of Wands is a 3-month card. And it's also talking about being more open. So you might be willing to explore new neighborhoods, new places that you haven't stayed at or lived in before, but being actively on the hunt. So it looks like that's something that you're going to be doing. This also makes me feel like there's like a lot of really thinking about what it is that you're hoping to like bring in, manifest, perfect word. This might mean that you're going to look at other areas. So I don't know how far you're willing to go, because sometimes the Six of Swords is like literally, it can be overseas. In this situation, I don't think so, because the Three of Wands is kind of saying it's closer by, but it might be closer to a body of water. So by a coast, by a lake even, that might be something that you find, by a beach. And the Three of Wands is saying like, I got to get out there and see what's out there. So if you know that you're staying within your city or you're staying within your state, this can be like taking short road trips, going to shorter places, shorter distances, and feeling it out before you really fully commit to being in one place. It might take you a couple outings to do that. Like you might make a couple 2 or 3 day trips just to kind of feel it out. And then you got the Six of Swords. So the Six of Swords is basically saying, okay, I like it here. You know, I like where I've gone, or I like where I visited. Now I'm in the process of packing up and moving. That's also like limbo. So sometimes that card comes up when I see people go, you know, I'm going to go and spend a week somewhere and see if I like it. I'm going to rent a place and I'm going to stay there and see, do I actually go out on the boats? Do I go out and do all the things locally? Do I enjoy the space? So it is possible that you'll do something that is more like a short staycation, just to make sure you like the space that you're staying in. But water may be nearby, or you might notice that there's lots of people who have boats, or people who are going and doing like water sports. That might be something else that comes up. Six of Swords is about being in limbo, so transition. So it might mean that it's a slow process for you to make the jump. Maybe you're going back and forth between a place between now and next summer. But this is a 6, so it means that you're looking at like probably June, July, closer to June, July of 2023, and that's when you're getting ready to make the move. But still, I'm looking at that Page of Coins and I'm like, what are you looking for? Where are you going to get the most bang for your buck? I think that's the biggest thing that I'm looking at, is where are you going to get the most bang for your buck? Visit a couple places, make sure you like it. Opt for moving in the summer. Obviously, moving at any point can be a bit of a hassle, but especially if you're going to be looking in Connecticut, I don't really get the impression you're going to be moving in the midst of winter. So probably doing this during June or July is going to be an easier time for you to move anyway. And you're going to really be able to see what it's going to be like in terms of the offerings that they may have during the warmer winter or spring months. So that way you really feel good about where you're moving, because anywhere in Connecticut in the winter, it's going to be cold. But maybe you want to be somewhere where you know there's going to be more outdoor activities or excursions or things like that, so you can really enjoy the most of what that particular space has to offer you. Lease ends around the end of July. Perfect, because it looks by like June, you know where you're going. So a perfect time for you to be moving. Go out to other places that you would not usually visit. Venture out a little bit is what it's looking like. And especially if you have a hobby that's like making things, crafting, gardening, planting, anything like that, things that you're creating or working with the element of earth, you're looking for a space where you can continue to keep doing some of those things. Very exciting. I'm really glad that that move card came up for you. You'll have to let me know what areas you're looking in or where you end up. Connecticut's beautiful. It's just it's so cold up there. Everything is so cold up there. I can't do it personally. After so many years either in California or out in the desert, I just, anything below 60 degrees and I'm frozen, basically. But I hope you make the move. Okay, so we've got Rachel. Oh my goodness. Rachel says, what is up with Pajama Guy? Did he move on? Is he missing me yet? I'm a Virgo rising, Taurus sun, Gemini moon. Let's take a look. Echo says, go skinny dipping and blow kisses to Venus and Mars. You are very welcome, Lisa. All right, Rachel, let's take a look. What's going on with Pajama Guy? Did he move on or is he missing me? So you're a 9th house Taurus sun. So you have a Scorpio stellium in your 3rd house, if you're Virgo rising. So you're sassy. Pajama Guy. Okay, so this is what we have. I had Judgment, Knight of Cups, Strength card. Judgment card is about judgment. It's about definitive decision, things that are happening, choices that are happening. Remind me, what sign is he again? I don't think he's a water sign, right? I want to say he's like an Aries. Judgment is basically saying making a choice, decisions having repercussions, right? So this is repercussions of decisions that are being made. Missing you, what's up with him? I mean, Judgment card coming up makes me feel like you're in a situation where it's like, you're like, okay, pick a lane. Is he here or is he not here? Oh yeah, Venus and Pisces, okay. And the Knight of Cups can be talking about him coming back. I mean, generally that's a water sign. That is a water sign generally. The Strength card is also about holding space and like kind of knowing that he can return. But I feel like the Knight of Cups is also coming after Judgment, saying that there's an opportunity for another person. Granted, there aren't other women coming up. So this is not a spread saying, oh, Pajama Guy is off with other people. This is a spread saying somebody's making a decision and there needs to be definitive repercussions for the decisions that are being made. This isn't justice where it's like, yeah, it could go either way. When you get to Judgment, you have to make a choice. You have to pick a lane. So there are the repercussions for his actions. If he's not showing up, if he's not being consistent, if he wants to be friends, boom. Here we have the Knight of Cups coming up with the Strength card, which is basically saying a new opportunity is about to be presented. You have to decide if you want to be the one that's going to let that in. Is it going to be him or is it going to be another person? It could be both. The Knight of Cups generally is about a new romantic offer or connection. Could he come back? Is it him? Oh boy, the confirmation card is the 6 of Cups. It is the reconnection card. So as much as I was like, is that a new person? Probably not. 6 of Cups talks about a reconnection. 6 days, 6 weeks before he returns. And the 6 of Cups is somebody who comes in all warm and fuzzy, you know, saying, hey, let's get drinks. Hey, let's get dinner, you know, whining and dining you, telling you about their feelings, coming back from behind. And then we have that 6 of Cups is the confirmation. So it's basically saying that he's going to return, reminiscing and talking about sweet times or about his feelings. And then we have this Strength card, which is like, do you just let him back with open arms? Generally, yes. That's kind of like, okay, this is your safe space. You know, if you love me, then you will return. But it's reminding you that there needs to be a decision. The Judgment card is saying, you know he's going to return. You know he's going to come back. That's his pattern. But he comes back because he knows that you will accept him with open arms. Strength card. Strength isn't always about physical strength. It's about emotional strength. And whether or not you're willing to sit there and go like, am I just going to keep letting him come back in? It might be about flexing that emotional muscle and basically being like, look, you can come back, you know, I have feelings for you, but this is not going to be a reoccurring thing. Like it's about kind of getting off of that relationship that feels like it's just a never-ending door, right? It's just constantly spinning. Whether or not you take him back, it looks like you'll be loving and you'll be affectionate with him because that's what the Strength card is about. But I think it's about you saying to him, Judgment, okay, there's repercussions for the behavior. It's not going to be a situation where I'm just going to keep letting you back. The Strength card is about kind of like being firm, but also loving. It's like, I have feelings for you. Therefore, I don't want this to be a situation where we have a revolving door relationship. You know, yeah, he's going to come back. You're going to reconnect with him and be warm and fuzzy. But remember the Judgment card saying to him, there needs to be a definitive decision. There needs to be a repercussion. I think he knows that there's feelings. I think he knows he can come back. I think he knows that there's something there. Personally, with the 6 of Cups as a confirmation, that's basically being like, him knowing that there's a soul connection, but he may not be ready. He may be immature. He may not be emotionally available. And you're looking at this being like, I know that he loves me. He's just being stupid. And he's just going to keep going through the motions until one day he wakes up and realizes like, it's going to be me. That may be the case, but you don't have to put up with it. You can say to him, okay, shit or get off the pot. What's it going to be? Do you want this? Do you want to do this or not? And yeah, he's going through, he's got the Pluto square, but still, the Strength card makes me feel like it's a matter of you learning to stand up for yourself and saying to him, just because you know I have feelings for you doesn't mean you can take advantage of that. Pick a lane. But he'll be back, and when he comes back with the Knight of Cups and the Six of Cups, that's like, you want to go camping and like have dinner together? Like, you know, you want me to come over and, you know, spend time with you and we'll watch a movie? It's very emotional and romantic and sensual, and you have to be careful because he'll definitely try to sweep you off your feet a little bit. And just being a Virgo rising, you know that that's coming. Having your chart ruler going retrograde in your 5th, it's going to conjunct Pluto. So it's like, are you willing to take the bait? Look at it as like a poison apple. He'll lure you in. And if you take the bait, you might fall under his spell again. So perhaps maybe it's about before you get into the, you know, having dinner and whining and dining and romanticizing, reconnecting, being like, we need to have a talk before it even gets back into the swing of things. It's like, hey, this is something that I need to tell you. I have feelings for you. I care about you. Okay. And because I also care about myself and I want to protect myself, you got to know what's up and you got to tell that person what's up. But he'll be back. He'll be back. Give it about 6 weeks. He'll return, but try to have the conversation before you guys start getting back into the rekindling, if you know what I mean. Good luck, Rachel. I'm excited to hear what happens because I'm pretty sure that that's going to be a very colorful Mercury retrograde for you. Here we go. So we have got Miss Wendy who is asking, can I get lip fillers on Tuesday? Wendy. Well, at least Mars is not retrograde. Let me look. What is today? Today's Saturday? Tuesday is going to be the 13th. All right, let's see what the cards say. Mars comes out of a square with Neptune, so that's good. Venus is in Capricorn, so that's good for your moon. The only thing that I'll say is earlier in the day, the moon opposes Saturn. So let's see. And the moon is very much connected to beauty in this chart. Lip fillers. Technically with Venus trine Pluto and Uranus, you can. I mean, I'm splitting hairs here, but I definitely would say the 14th is a better day. Just my 2 cents. I would rather do it when the moon's gonna trine other placements. Here we go. Nine of Cups, Two of Wands, Three of Wands. I kind of have the impression that somebody is already anticipating that you're coming. So I would go as far as being like, do you have an appointment? King of Cups coming up with the Two of Wands and the Three of Wands. So that's basically saying somebody available, willing to satisfy you if that's what you need. Happy to see you, happy to connect with you, and cups being liquid, so I can see that as fillers. Two of Wands is being like, okay, open to do it, or I have availability, or I have an opening. The willingness also to be flexible in terms of seeing you. And then Three of Wands is, yes, I'm available. I can take you. When are you available? Okay, we'll see you then. Like, it's very matter of fact, the cards. So to me, it seems like there's either been some confirmation of availability, or you're making the decision to actually follow through with an appointment, and you're already planning on going, and it looks like you're going to go. So going that day is fine. The only thing that I'm not crazy about is that earlier in the day on the 13th, the moon is going to oppose Saturn. And so the moon in opposition to Saturn with a square to the nodes is kind of a fateful day on tap. And Venus the moon will conjunct Venus actually on the 13th. So like I said, I'm splitting hairs here. I mean, we've got, you know, Venus that's going to come into a trine with the moon, and the 14th would be a better day. But that's just me being very particular. And it can mean that it's going to take a little bit of time maybe for you to see the effects that you're looking for. The other thing that I would say is just knowing that you're a Cancer and that planets are going to oppose your sun. Like doing it before the 23rd is ideal. So from the 23rd through about the 1st of January, excuse me. So December 23rd through the 1st of January, that's a no-fly zone. Like doing cosmetic stuff then when it's in opposition to your sun is not a good idea. But if you want to do it tomorrow, that's fine. Just know that with the moon opposed Venus, and it's going to square, the moon's going to oppose Saturn. So it's going to conjunct Venus and oppose Saturn, which means you may not get quite the effects that you're looking for. But the sun trine the moon is nice. So it's just kind of like a toss-up. Moon's going to sextile Mars, that's nice. Moon's going to trine Chiron, that's nice. Moon's going to trine the sun, things flow well. And the moon's coming in conjunction with Venus. So to me, it looks like you're opting to go and do some kind of Venusian type work, and you've already committed to it. So I'm fine as long as you don't have any of these squares to Neptune. For the most part, you're good. Just keep in mind that the last few times that you've done anything, when we've discussed this, usually it's like when the moon's in Virgo or Capricorn. So if there is any flexibility, I would say a better day would be doing it on the 14th or the 15th. But once again, that's just me splitting hairs. And it looks like there's already been a commitment and you're already planning on going and doing this. So if they have flexibility and you can bump it to the 14th or the 15th, I would, because I like the moon trine Venus and I like the moon trine Pluto. But that's just me being very particular. To me, it seems like scheduling issues or getting there is a bit of a hassle because the moon is going to oppose Saturn. So I don't know if there's going to be some rescheduling or maybe there's going to be some waiting that kind of goes on, or that there's like a lot of traffic because there's placements going through your third house squaring the nodes, if that makes sense. But yeah, it looks like there's already a commitment, so you're going to go. Just take arnica if you're going to do that. Obviously, you know, you're a veteran. You've been around the block with that stuff. So many people are like, oh, do I get the injections or not during the Mars retrograde? It's very interesting. I feel like I've had more people asking me whether they should do it this time around than usual. Thank you, Lisa. We'll see you soon. Make sure we grabbed everybody here. I think we did. All right, so let me know about Pajama Guy, especially when we get in the shadow on the 12th. So we're going to have the Mercury retrograde shadow start in just a couple days. Tomorrow is the last day before the shadow, so if you guys want to sign things, agree to things, whatever, try to do it tomorrow. I do have a video coming out tomorrow for astro weather. I'm going to talk to you guys about the transits for the week ahead. It's going to come a little bit later than usual. Like I said, I've had some changes with my schedule. I'm moving my office around right now, so the videos that we're going to be putting out probably for the next week, they'll still come out the same days. They are either going to be a little bit later or they're going to be a little bit shorter, but that's just because we're filming them in advance for about a week. As a reminder, again, I will not be doing live readings, so we will not be back until the week of the 18th, likely sometime between the 22nd, maybe 23rd. There's going to be a new moon in Capricorn, so let's do some astrology readings then. By then, I'll be into my new office because we're kind of moving this whole next week, so I appreciate your guys' patience. Sometime tomorrow, probably in the later morning, early afternoon, there's going to be a weekly video that's going to be out. In the meantime, make sure you're subscribed, make sure you click the button below, and you guys can watch my weekly videos and come and join me for my lives. Thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me on Saturday night. It was great getting a chance to see you guys, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Take care.